The United States of America actually loves certain refugees. They love Syrian refugees. They love Cuban refugees. They love Vietnamese refugees. They love refugees from the former Soviet bloc, which is not to say that they love Syrian people, which is not to say they love Cuban people, which is not to say they love Vietnamese people, which is not even to say they love Slavic people. What it's to say is they love quote unquote refugees, these kind of refugees, a lot. They love right wing refugees. They love people who are fleeing countries. They love Iranian refugees that were loyal to the Shah. They love all kinds of refugees. Which is not to say they love Iranian people. They love these types of refugees coming from these places. Not coming from these places, but coming from places where the United States is attacked and who were part of that attack, and who the successful people, some proletarian force, threw them out. That's who they love. That's who they love. So we got to really understand that, and that's true of the Democrats, and that's true of the Republicans. And we oftentimes, not we here in this panel, but a lot of people share these kinds of politics. You know why? Because they're rooting for something. They're rooting for Team America. So they root for the Democrats, or they root for the Republicans because they're rooting for Team America. And you really got to break from that altogether. You really got to break from like rooting for this kind of country altogether. It is a boil on the ass of the world. It is oppressing a lot of people within it. It's 5% of the world's population, 25% of the world's prison population. It's fucking us up, and it is fucking up the rest of the world even worse.
I'm so glad you mentioned the double standards of migrants. I like to call them the red carpet migrants, who get the royal treatment, the gusanos from Cuba, the escuálidos from Venezuela, the contras from Nicaragua, the Wahhabis from Syria, the anti-communists from the former Soviet countries. All these people, man, they get the nice 5-star treatment, the red carpet immigrants. And I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I was at a TPS rally one time in solidarity with migrants. And obviously, like, there was a group of like Haitians, Hondureños who were pushing for TPS, who were pushing. We're talking about the two poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere, Haiti and Honduras, that have been pillaged by imperialism, colonialism. And then at this rally, you have this like white Venezuelan woman who's like, I'm just as oppressed. I'm a migrant. Like, I'm like, dude, you were probably a fucking millionaire back in Venezuela. Your ancestors probably had a few enslaved people here and there, and it's just like, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because we have to make a class distinction within the quote unquote migrant rights movement about what immigrants and refugees are favored some over others. And Haitians and Hondurans and Mexicans, and we're seen as the bottom of the list. We're seen as the bottom of the barrel. But hey, we take that with pride. We're hard working class people. A lot of these gusanos and escuálidos from Venezuela and Cuba, and the contras from Nicaragua, they're all trust fund babies. They all come from millionaire families. And I honestly don't give a fuck about them. They are anti-communist. They are pro, like you said, Matt, I think that was such a great way of saying it. They are on Team America, and America with 3 Ks. And so it's just a great way of putting that